Hey friend, Roger Christofferson here again with another first listen review. Also another one that I've listened to twice. I seem to be doing that lately. I've been getting a lot of good stuff lately. I just want to keep it going. And this one is no different. It's the new one from Sammy Hagar and The Circle. In case anybody out there doesn't know who Sammy Hagar and The Circle is, Sammy Hagar, obviously, and Michael Anthony, who seems to be his partner in crime for the past several, 20 years now or something more. If you even want to go back to early 80s there, mid 80s, Van Halen, it's been a really long time, so I'm not doing the math, so figure it out. Anyway, so this one also has Vic Johnson on guitar, who is the guitar player from his solo band that has been with him for many years, and Jason Bonham on drums. Produced, I'm going to bring this up because I don't usually mention the producers too much in these, but this one is produced by Dave Cobb, who is a Grammy Award-winning Nashville producer. I know he's done Chris Stapleton, but I actually don't know who else off the top of my head, but he's a Nashville guy. He had all the guys go down to Nashville to track this record, and he plays rhythm guitar on every track, so that's why I'm mentioning him, because he does play on every track. And they recorded this album live. And the funny part is, I didn't realize that when I first started listening to it, and I was listening to it going, man, this sounds like a live album. It just feels great. It feels like a band. And then I was kind of doing a little bit of research on it and saw that it was all tracked live. I'm like, well, that explains it. The very first thing that these guys ever released was actually a live album, too. It was a bunch of shows where they're covering all their previous bands. There's a lot of Van Halen songs and Sammy songs. And they actually did a Zeppelin tune and a couple other covers. It's kind of similar to what he does with Chickenfoot, where they got a couple different members in that one, obviously, but a few different songs. But this band has a different feel than Chickenfoot. It's more of I don't want to say bar band feel, but it's got a bar band feel, but with really, really, really good musicianship. Not saying that bar bands can't have good musicianship, but you get the whole deal here. It's kind of sad that Sammy was supposed to play here in my hometown, well, about half an hour away anyway, a couple months ago, and he got sick and canceled, so didn't get to see him, so I was a little bumming about that. But anyway, got the album here to listen to, and the album, I really like this album, so I'm going to get right into it. Just going to go through it kind of quick here because I think I tend to go on and on sometimes about each individual song, but I'll just kind of mention what I feel about this one. It starts out with a little acoustic intro of Sammy singing, and then like a little bit into it, you get to hear Michael Anthony and his background vocals in the background, which just gave me an immediate, like, that old Van Halen type feel. I mean, it just sounds like he sounded singing background vocals in Van Halen. It's the first thing that came to mind. And that goes right into the song Slow Drain, which starts out kind of mid-tempo-y, like almost a Zeppelin-y type riff. And then partially through the song, you get that same background vocal thing again, and like they combine the two together, which is kind of cool. And track 3, Feed Your Head, which is a cool kind of a little bit of a funky feel to it. I kind of like that one, upbeat song. And then that goes right into their cover of Elvis Costello, his song Pump It Up. And it's funny, when I first heard it, I go, man, I've heard this song before, and it took me a minute to click where it was, because I hadn't read through any of the liner notes or anything. I just stuck the album in and started listening. And then I realized, oh yeah, this is an old Elvis Costello song, which was pretty cool. It's funny because one of the last few shows we did with my band Brain Lies, I wanted to do an old Elvis Costello song because I had heard a couple different versions of What's So Funny, and I thought that'd be a fun song to do, but never ended up doing it. But anyway, that aside, it was fun to listen to this song. And then we get to the first, I guess we'll call it a ballad. It's called Be Still. Acoustic guitar comes in, and it's a good song. It's heartfelt singing. I mean, Sammy really sings great on this album. I do have to mention that. And that goes into You Get What You Pay For, which is a cool song. It's kind of another up-tempo rocker. It was a fun song, and then it goes into the Crazy Times, which they do have a video out for. And one thing I really started noticing the first listen through was in this song, I'm like, man, Michael Anthony is really playing his butt off on this song. He's doing some cool stuff. When I listened back through the second time, I was like, man, he's really playing his butt off on all these songs. He's like really showing his chops off on this one. And, it makes me want to go check out. I mean, I've always known he's a good bass player. I actually had to learn how to play right now at one point in time, I was like, man, I really realized how good of a bass player he was until I had to figure out a couple of things he did. Never really got the credit he deserved, I don't think, for his bass playing, but he definitely showing it on this one. And then, of course, Funky Feng Shui is the next one, which is a fun song. It's actually funny. They did a video for that one, and it's like probably the least memorable song on this whole disc. And it's really short, so it's only like 2 minutes long, so it's kind of strange that they would choose that one. But anyway, now the next song, Father Time, I found interesting because when Sammy wrote this song, actually the first person he ever played it for was John Cougar, and John Cougar was on his show. Sammy's got the show where he goes around interviewing people. It's on AXS TV. I can't even think of the name, and I've seen it 100 times. But so anyway, he was told, hey, you should do that song. It's a really good song. And when they cut this one in the studio, producer thought the same thing. They cut all the songs live, and when they do that, Sammy was doing just a vocal take, and they did a little bit of overdubbing here and there, with Vic solos and some of the vocals afterwards. But I guess this was the only one they actually kept the full vocal track. It was just boom, that was it. That was the take, and that's the one you hear. And it sounds great. He hasn't lost it at all, I don't think. I know some people out there don't like Sammy's voice, didn't like him with Van Halen and all that, but I don't know. I think he's got a great voice. He's got a style that I liked Sammy Hagar before he joined Van Halen. I remember getting excited when I found he was going to join because I was a fan of his earlier stuff. And I thought it was a weird mix. I'll give you that. When I first heard 5150, I thought, man, this is not Van Halen. But then after several listens and realizing that that's just a different road they were taking with the band, I actually enjoyed to like it. There's definitely two different styles between the two. The singers brought two different things to the band, and I know there's that debate, but I'm not getting in all that. I'm just saying I like Sammy's voice, and I think he sings great on this album. And track 10, which is, I guess, the last song on just the regular disc, Childhood's End, is this, I don't even know how to explain it. It's kind of it's a slower song, and that builds in the middle. It's actually got a really cool riff about halfway through that kicks in. And Vic plays some really great solos on this whole album, but this is the one where I really noticed that he's a little bit, the only negative I'm going to give this whole thing is that he's a little bit down in the mix. Drums and bass and vocals you hear like plain as day. There's like, you don't lose anything, which I think the mixing was great. The rhythm guitars all mixed well. There's not a whole lot of extra tracks thrown in where sometimes it gets a little muddy and things cover up other things. The only time I really noticed it a lot was in this one. Solo could have been up just a little bit because he's really playing well. Other than that, I think the whole album's great. Now I did get the bonus one where it's got the song, track 11, called 2120, which I don't understand why this was not on the regular release, because this is my favorite song on the whole thing. I mean, if they were going to cut a song, Funky Feng Shui is only 2 minutes. I thought that was kind of And Feed Your Head wasn't the greatest. So, if you're going to cut a song, man, leave that one. I don't know why this one got bumped down to a bonus track. It is my favorite song on the whole thing, so it's just strange that it was cut. And another one where Vic plays like an amazing solo. And then the last bonus track is Father Time Acoustic, which is cool. Obviously, that was already on here earlier, full band, but it was nice to hear Sammy's original take on it, just him, singing it with the acoustic guitar. So anyway, man, I would have to give this, if I was going to rate it, I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. It was really good. It's exactly what I expected it to be. I know the last album was a little bit, studio album they did was a little bit, I had mixed feelings on that one. First one, the live one's great. You should get that one. It's just a fun album. It sounds like a bunch of guys getting together to have fun, and that's what this sounds like. There's a bunch of guys got together. They got some great songs, and it got better the second listen. I got it still in the disc player. I'm probably gonna listen to it several more times throughout the day. So anyway, tell me what your thoughts are on it. I'd love to hear what everybody else thinks of this. I was really looking forward to it, and I was not let down, so I'm very thankful for that. So anyway, be sure to subscribe, share, all that fun stuff, and talk to you guys in the next one. See ya.